stay in that competition to stay in the league. But Wolfsburg, on the other hand, and I said that before, is a tough team to beat at the moment and this season overall. And they will do absolutely everything in their might to keep their chance to play in Europe next season. Stay in that competition to stay in the league. But Wolfsburg, on the other hand, and I said that before, is a tough team to beat at the moment and this season overall. And they will do absolutely everything in their might.
Forwards by Wolfsburg, easily dealt with by that Bremen back line.
In Europe next season. Stay in that competition to stay in the league.
Pongracic.
But Wolfsburg, on the other hand, and I said that before, is a tough team to beat at the moment and this season overall. And they will do absolutely everything in their might.
Forwards by Wolfsburg, easily dealt with by that Bremen back line twice.
In Europe next season.
In the 4-1 victory there.
In that competition.
But he's some defending to do here. He's
Wolfsburg, on the other
down
hand,
by from Red Team Salzburg. Babu, uncompromising challenge.
And they will do absolutely everything in
his
their might.
arrival on the Bundesliga by Wolfsburg, easily dealt with by that Bremen back line twice.
In Europe next season.
In the 4-1 victory there.
Sargent was already in center, ready to collect that ball.
Asako. And at the second attempt, Pavlenka, Kunka steals, can gather.
So this fixture, it's some kind of a derby, you said that, is always been something extra, something special to play. I do remember some tough fights.
This is how Werder Bremen have lined up so far. As we can see, a bit more compact in the middle of the average position so far.
I just love this new kind of technology which allows us to really see what's going on there, even though we have something on the tactical sheets. Usually what the players do down there is something different, and this is how you can clearly see how the team is acting on the pitch.
And visible as well how Ludwig Augustinsson, who's seen plenty of the ball down the left, really being brought into play by Werder.
Really is. It's unusual for him actually, but really involved offensively in this first 11 minutes so far.
Here he is again. Cross, however, no threat at all. Roussillon clears. Perhaps now a chance for Wolfsburg to break. João Victor is appended by Moisander. Well, this is how Wolfsburg lined up nominally, with Mehmedi drifting inside now, and as we can see, although they've been on the back foot.
Yeah, they surely have. And they try to stay close together, make the spaces as small as possible, even switch the side a little bit on the wings, but that's something that we will see during the game, that it will switch back and forth. But yeah, overall, Wolfsburg mostly involved defensively so far, because his team, Florian Kofeld's team, is doing a good job controlling the ball at the moment.
Josh Sargent, the young US striker, back in the starting lineup for Bremen today in place of Davy Selke. He was only on the bench midweek, was Josh Sargent. This is Weghorst, who's done really well here. It's Wout Weghorst with the first chance for Wolfsburg. Pavlenka got an all-important hand on it. No power on the shot, however. But a warning for Werder Bremen, should they need it, that there's no room for complacency. Wolfsburg can hurt them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big warning, in my opinion, and a big chance. Without the fans roaring to that, it seems kind of different, but it was a big first chance of this game, I would say. And a neat little trick, actually, to pass it by Pavlenka instead of getting a real shot off. So, interesting situation.
Gebre Selassie. Another agricultural challenge on Roussillon.
Yeah, he must have hurt a little bit. He was trying to get to the ball, but only got to the feet of Roussillon. He will be back on the feet, and here we see first little trick to get past Veljković, and then he tried to just put it past Pavlenka. Not really a shot, just a little passing by, or the attempt to do so, but Veljković was there and could stop real damage from being done.
Maxi Arnold whips the free kick into the box. It's been a real weapon for Wolfsburg in recent weeks. They laid fresh emphasis on set pieces at the winter break.
And those two met before in this game.
And Mbabu's got the better of Augustinsson here. It's Mbabu into the area looking for Brooks.
I think that's going to be an interesting matchup during this game. So far, those two mostly involved in everything. And you said it, Mbabu on the upper hand in this challenge.
Now here's Augustinsson, Klaassen, Maxi Eggestein. In the end, all on his own, but Klaassen delivers the ball back in, looking for Josh Sargent.
An easy catch for Castells. You see, possession-wise, it's quite level. I was expecting a little bit towards Bremen because they seemed a little bit more in control so far, but yep, numbers say different.
Bremen with the upper hand as far as shots go, but Wolfsburg's attempt on goal was much more dangerous. Wout Weghorst probably had a bit more time than he realised as well. He'd done so well to get past Vekovic. First time shot. Wasn't really able to trouble Pavlenka. But a bright opening 15 minutes or so at the Weserstadion in a game that both sides really have to win. Bremen, with their backs to the wall in the Bundesliga basement. The gap to absolute safety increased to 6 points yesterday after Mainz won in Frankfurt. And they came into the game 3 points behind Fortuna Düsseldorf in the relegation playoff spot. But with a goal difference of -5, worse than Fortuna.
Yeah, but you have to look on the bright side. There's still 15 points left to be taken for Werder Bremen. Even though Düsseldorf did their job. And this might not get them closer really, but still there are a couple games left to do so. But in my opinion, these crucial games, or these games at home especially, should be where Werder Bremen is collecting those points, but it's not getting easier.
Well, they've plenty of cup finals coming up for Werder Bremen. They've got to play Paderborn, Mainz and Köln, all teams down in the lower half of the table. Unfortunately for them, they also face Bayern in the run-in.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be the easiest game, at least mentally, because against them you know absolutely that all you can achieve is a surprise and a win, because everybody expects you to lose. So it's not the toughest game, but the games against Paderborn and so these are the games that are really tough. Even though Paderborn is definitely going down this season, in my opinion, they have not given up yet. They are still fighting. They want to collect every point. They want to give the best picture possible, to leave the best picture possible in the first Bundesliga.
This is Werder captain Niklas Moisander just weighing up his options. Veteran Finnish international. This is Bart Freda, a Werder institution, been at the club since 2004. Industrious presence in midfield, his battling qualities, what Florian Kohfeldt was looking towards in this match against Wolfsburg today. Kohfeldt had described that loss to Frankfurt in the rearranged fixture as a setback, but not a knockout blow. However, Bremen certainly on the ropes. This is Roussillon. Dink it in, looking for Weghorst. It's away by Vogt. Back in by Schlager.
It's a little shift of momentum down there. Wolfsburg is getting stronger, pushing Bremen further back into their own half.
Mehmedi. This is Mbabu. It's a neat spell of possession for Wolfsburg. Mbabu perhaps a little over-ambitious in trying to take on Augustinsson.
And those two going to be sore tonight from the looks of it and how they go at each other. That's a really good challenge, really good duel on the left side or right side, depending on what team you're looking at.
Florian Kohfeldt, the Werder coach, said that his side have enjoyed 7 halves of really promising football in recent weeks. The only exception was the second half on Wednesday against Eintracht Frankfurt. They've been on a little bit of a run, picked up some form, one away at Freiburg, one away at Schalke, drew here at home to Gladbach, hadn't conceded a goal.
Yeah, that all sounds promising and good, but what you need in the end are not halves, are full games, and are the results. I mean, they had results as well against Schalke, you said it, and but still, you need all these points you can get in this situation you are in when you're looking at it from a Bremen perspective, and that defeat was a bummer. Absolutely right, no knockout yet, but a huge, huge setback and a big chance that was given away.
Well, the most promising aspect of that, Ovo, was those 3 clean sheets in a row. Up until then, Bremen had conceded 62 goals, only Mainz had more. But in a position like this, down at the bottom end, is it more important to stabilise the defence, or do you just have to go for it and score goals and just hope if they score 3, we've got to try and score 4?
I mean, obviously, you need all of it. You need offensive or defensive stability, and you need offensive, or you need to be offensively dangerous and able to score. And they have lacked on both ends on the pitch mostly in this season. But you know, being stability defensively gives you the opportunity to go a little bit more risky offensively. And yeah, but with that little setback in Frankfurt, I don't know what Werder's thinking. From the looks of today, they seem to be still confident and believing, but yeah, we'll see how this game unravels.
Here's Vogt under pressure from Weghorst. Gave Moisander a bit too much work to do, and it's rather carelessly given the momentum back to Wolfsburg.
It's a crucial period in this game right now. They can't give away too much now to Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen, because otherwise their confidence will shrink and shrink. To take this game back into their own hands and try to control what's going to happen.
Moisander. Again, Bremen give the ball away rather needlessly. Well, as do Wolfsburg. Bargfrede wins it back. This is Davy Klaassen. Gebri Selassie has space on the right now.
Doesn't know what to do with it, and all the way back to Vogt it goes.
Perhaps that a sign of the confidence we were talking about, Ovo.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're confident, if you believe in yourself and your team, then you try to push that ball forward. Instead, it's going backwards right now.
With Mbabu again, Brekalo and Mehmedi were awaiting in the middle. Pongracic and Brooks. This is João Victor, a Brazilian, who came with Glasner from Linz to Wolfsburg in the summer. Davy Klaassen, Dutch international. Osako, and it's Josh Sargent's first sight of goal for the US international. Just taken off his toes at the last minute.
Yeah, there you have the first real promising chance for Werder Bremen. Good ball from Klaassen, very well made from Gebri Selassie, who led this ball through, and then Osako and Josh Sargent not fast enough to come up with a quick finish.
And once again, Maxi Arnold showing his worth to the team, not just going forwards, defensively as well. He's such an influential figure at Wolfsburg, Maxi Arnolds.
Yeah, as a true leader, especially with guys like Gila Vogina on the pitch and being able to do what they do best, he's even more important. And he's been there so long.
This is Brekalo. Bergfrieder clears up at the back for Werder. Brekalo, young Croatian international, played the full 90 minutes for the first time in a year against Frankfurt last time out.
A guy with a lot of quality, but needs to be put in the right place from time to time, that's what I heard. Because he usually thinks only one way, and that's offensively, and not so much. He doesn't like to be involved defensively, so he needs to learn that, and then he'll be an even better addition to the team of Wolfsburg. But his qualities offensively are fantastic.
Here's Maxi Arnolds. Well read by Moisander. Osako hesitated.
Yeah, it's been a few balls now where Osako just waited a little bit too long in terms of getting the pass or something going, and that allows Wolfsburg to really get the ball back quick instead of having an own chance of counter-attack.
Gebre Selassie, Czech international. Werder seemed to have switched to the back three in possession. Kevin Vogt had normally been slated for defensive midfield before the game, but he's playing more at the heart of the back three for Werder Bremen, with Augustinsson and Gebre Selassie being given licence to play in a more advanced position on the flanks.
It's just interesting to hear what everything or what everybody says down there. You can clearly hear everything.
Usually drowned out, of course, by the vocal support of over 40,000 in the Weserstadion. They are all here in spirit, just praying that their Werder side can get out of trouble. It really would be a seismic relegation should Werder go down. They've only missed one season of Bundesliga football since 1963. That was in 1980 and 81. They've played more games in Germany's top flight than any other sides. 1,895 since their great rivals Hamburg were relegated 2 years ago. Bremen overtook them as the longest-serving member of the Bundesliga. That status is hanging on by a thread. This is Victor and Mehmedi. Well, another decent opportunity goes begging for Wolfsburg.
Yeah, a huge, huge chance. Pongacic gets that ball out there. And then it's Mehmedi who can't find the net, but a defender standing in the way.
Well, he had plenty of time and space. Mehmedi could almost have taken a touch.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
However, it is a corner for Wolfsburg to be taken by Brekalo. It's headed away by Gebre Selassie. This is Victor. Nazem Babu in support. Victor to dink it to the far post for Brooks. Brekalo just couldn't keep it in, but Brooks had been ruled offside in the build-up anyway. There's the Werder bench with Davy Selke in the middle. front of him, Leonardo Bittencourt, who's been struggling to recover from injury. The man with the most important goal since the Bundesliga restarted in mid-May. He got the winner in Freiburg, he got the winner in Schalke as well, did Bittencourt. But just not fit enough to start today. He was on the bench as well midweek against Freiburg. And another key man in Werder's push for survival, also injured out today, Milot Rashica, the pacey winger.
Yeah, much was relying on their shoulders in the recent weeks, even though Rashica wasn't in the best of shape or best of form at the moment. Still is somebody who was able to turn games around with just a single action. And Leo Bittencourt, after he took a hard fall against Schalke, after he scored that incredible goal to let Werder Bremen win this one, he took a fall out of the sky, so to say, and injured his hip or lower back. Still suffering from that.
Potentially an option in the second half for Florian Kohfeldt. Clash between the US boys, John Brooks and Josh Sargent. They have appeared together for the men's national team.
It's always interesting to play against teammates of some kind. They know you pretty well, usually.
But of course, for the 90 minutes here today, any friendships put us well and truly aside.
Absolutely.
Wolfsburg pressing high up the pitch, trying to force Werder into mistakes. They've played their way out of trouble, however. This is Bargfrede. Osako. Still Osako! It's a good save by Casteels. First sight of goal for the Japanese forward.
Yeah, but it was very well played. Opening pass from Bargfrede. Then he had the chance to leave this ball for Josh Sargent, but was rather testing Casteels in goal. There was a little bit space left up left. Could have put that a little bit higher, then it would really be a difficult thing to do for Casteels. This way he could prove himself as a good goalkeeper.
Augustinsson. Play just held up momentarily. Now Augustinsson with the corner. Goes deep. Verkovic got the head on it, but no power at all. Still looking for his first goal of the season, Milos Verkovic. Goals have been particularly hard to come by for Werder Bremen this season. The lowest tally in the league, just 30 all season, and we're now on match day 30. Here's Weghorst for Wolfsburg. The absence of support went for the early shot. Never any trouble.
Well, these are the kind of mistakes Bremen has to stop giving Wolfsburg, or stop doing. Because Casteels is clearly able... No, not Casteels. I mean, Weghorst is absolutely able to do more than he just did in this moment before. You shouldn't allow him to be in that position easily too often.
Well, by his standards, Wout Weghorst is on something of a mini drought. It's been 4 games since he scored now.
He's been the third best striker or second best striker of last season, just behind Lewandowski, and level with another man. I'm not really sure who was the other one, but he was up there. He was scoring good numbers.
17 goals last season in his debut season, Wout Weghorst. But a set piece now for Wolfsburg. It's been their main weapon in recent weeks. 4 of their last 5 goals have come from similar positions. It's Arnold's, and it's straight down the throat of Pavlenka. Wolfsburg laid fresh emphasis on set piece work at the winter break. And indeed, in the second half of the season, they've scored 10 goals from set pieces. It's a league high. However, fruitless in their endeavours thus far as we pass the half-hour mark at the Weserstadion. The game finally poised.
Takes a little bit too much of the time, in my opinion.
Victor will give chase. Forked all the way back to Pavlenka. Strong header from Pongracic. Klaassen straight back. Eggestein, who's been quiet this afternoon, usually a figure of influence for Werder Bremen.
There was a huge hand involved, in my opinion.
And finally, Bibiana Steinhaus pulls play back.
Seems as she was asking Victor, who, if he used the hands, even though he wasn't it was Mehmedi, who used a little bit too much of what is not allowed in football.
Well, Wolfsburg winning more of the challenges so far. They've been, as the half has progressed, ever more in Werder's faces, pressing higher up the pitch. Still Bremen edging the chances. Both sides have had decent openings. But still, we wait for the first goal of the game. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Roussillon turns away from Sargent, gives the ball away momentarily.
It's not too easy on the eye, this stretch of, or this period right now. A lot of fighting, a lot of mistakes made by both teams.
Brekalo. Weghorst. It's opening up now for Wolfsburg. It's Victor into the middle. Still Victor. Mehmedi now.
Pass went into nowhere. He was clearly looking for Weghorst. He was the only one who can get balls put up that high. Interesting haircut Mehmedi has there, but that's another story. Both teams with, let's say, two promising moments in front of the opponent's goal, but besides that, they're struggling to really find a way through the defense.
Augustinsson. Again, his constant companion Mbabu. Brekalo. Bagfreda. Got back well to intercept. Sargent. Upended by Brooks. Felt the full force of that, Josh Sargent.
So much about a friendly between those two. Brooks is absolutely not shying down of physical contact every chance he gets.
Such an imposing figure at the heart of that Wolfsburg defence, John Brooks. Eggestein. Augustinsson. And away by Roussillon. Is Bagfreda. Gebri Selassie's on the overlap and into the box. Gebri Selassie cut out by Brooks. It's Eggestein from distance. And there's appeal for the handball.
Yep. She asked for Castells to throw their ball into out of bounds because one of the players is down. It's Mehmedi lying on the ground, holding his head.
Well, here we can have a closer look in the way of...
Yeah, what shall we make of this one? It's so interesting how the referees working that new rule, or that rule of handball in this season. There's been a lot of different opinions, different outcomes of mostly almost the same situations. So interesting what we'll make of this one.
Oh, well, certainly hitting Xaver Schlager's hand on the way through the shots.
Yep.
But certainly couldn't be really accused of trying to make his body bigger. However, Bibiana Steinhaus is in consultation with video assist in Cologne.
Now, I mean, that arm was as close as possible to Schlager's body and stomach in this case as possible, so there shouldn't be a handball in my opinion, but what do I know?
You're yet to complete your referee qualifications over...
Shouldn't it be handed to me after playing 10 years of professional football? I mean, I do know a few rules at least.
Well, McMahdy still looking rather dazed after the collision on the edge of the area.
Yeah, he bumped into Davy Klaassen, who didn't see him coming.
Well, clash of the back of heads.
Yeah, but no penalty. Absolutely the right decision here. Even though it was a promising shot from Maxi Eggestein.
Well, Maxi Arnold's been at the heart of everything Wolfsburg have attempted in this first half, both defensively and going forward. The man for set pieces, he makes Wolfsburg tick. Vogt, long for Osako, who can't control. Pongracic regains possession for Wolfsburg. Arnold's back to Casteels. Koen Casteels, the Wolfsburg goalkeeper, recently overtook the legendary Jean-Marie Pfaff as the Belgian goalkeeper with the most Bundesliga appearances. Pfaff, one of the most iconic goalkeepers of recent history, played for Bayern in the 80s.
It's an interesting figure. I had the pleasure of meeting him during a fishing fair, actually. I don't know what he was doing there. I know that I'm a huge fan of fishing, but yeah, he was there too. It's just incredible how he still is this unusual kind of guy, and he played that way too. He was not the typical goalkeeper, but actually goalkeepers are usually not really typical.
A breed for the amongst themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Well, Casteels is known as a rather understated, quiet goalkeeper. In fact, Jean-Marie Pfaff said that the only thing he could really improve Casteels would to be a bit more vocal. He certainly established himself as a Bundesliga keeper of some repute. Only really had one save to make so far.
And again, Mbabu against Augustinsson.
Immensely high work rate from both the fullbacks at either end of the pitch, constantly up against each other. Here's Augustinsson. Taken off his toes by Maxi Arnold.
A little too much of a push there from Mbabu.
Well, these two have been in such close companionship all afternoon. You almost wonder if they'll be going home together as well.
Good pals after this one. Good pals. Yeah, it's not too far.
This is Davy Klaassen with the free kick for Werder Bremen. Time perhaps for one last chance before half-time. It's on by Asako. But a promising opportunity goes begging for Werder. Brooks strolls out of defence. There's Roussillon. Victor looks to take on Eggestein. Eggestein comes out on top. Arnold. And Babu and Augustinsson yet again. And Babu wins out. Here's Brakalo. And Babu going for the return. Bugfreda away. First booking of the game for the late lunge by Davy Klaassen on Maxi Arnold.
He had this one coming, absolutely. Going in like this. A little, too much effort there. Fortunately, Arnold saw him coming and took the invitation.
We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. There'll be 1 minute of time added on. And it's Maxi Arnold over the free kick for Wolfsburg. Bremen maintaining the high line. Arnold's gone for goal himself. Well, it was perhaps overly ambitious.
Very optimistic, Maxi Arnold.
And that should be the final action of the first half. Pavlenka taking his time, just seeing the game through to half-time. They'll be grateful to regather at the break, Werder Bremen. And there is indeed the half-time whistle at the end of a first half that's been rather intriguing. Both sides have prodded and probed, chances at either end. However, it's goalless at the break as Werder Bremen search for 3 vital points in their battle against relegation. Well, Patrick, what were your thoughts on this first half at the Weserstadion?
I think the game had the right kind of intensity for what's on the line for both teams, actually. And besides a few technical problems at my desk right here, I've seen exactly what I expected.
place at the start of play. 6 points away from the safety of 15th place. Wolfsburg in the hunt for the Europa League places. They are chasing the 6th and final spot, too far away from 5th place. But a point behind Hoffenheim going into the game today. Freiburg and Hertha also breathing down their necks. Werder Bremen have 45 minutes to somehow find the goal they so desperately need as they battle to preserve their Bundesliga status. 3 points away from the relegation playoff spot at the start of play. 6 away from the safety of 15th. They battled hard in the first half. There were chances at either end for both Bremen and Wolfsburg. However, the draw is not enough for either of them. Yuya Osako had potentially Bremen's best chance of the first half, denied by a flying save from Kern Casteels. No changes at the break. It's as you were for Bremen and Wolfsburg. Well, Werder have a really impressive recent home record against Wolfsburg. They've won each of the last 4 meetings here between the two sides. And how they so desperately need to keep that run going. Time is ticking away for Bremen. Every game is a cup final for them. After this match today, they just have 4 fixtures remaining. This is Augustinsson back in the starting lineup this afternoon, and a really industrious, impressive first half performance from the Swedish international. A royal battle against Kevin Mbabu. Well, Patrick Kovamoyela, what do you think Florian Kohfeldt would have said to his side at the break? Would he have been pleased with their first half performance?
I mean, at least with parts of it. They have shown some promising periods during the first half, especially the first, let's say, 10 minutes, where they were absolutely in control of this game. And they had some promising attacks as well, as we see that some staff members, I think, are using boxes to get a little bit of atmosphere going in this. Usually, so you said it, atmospheric stadium. So they shown promising stuff during the first half, but not really all of the 45 minutes was good. So he might added a little ideas to that, especially going forward, as they are now.
With Davy Klaassen, the ball inadvertently taken away from its intended target by Josh Sargent, and then the Roussillon will charge forward for Wolfsburg, and he's brought down. And Josh Sargent receives a booking for his troubles.
Yeah, it was unclever. I mean, you just grabbed the jersey like they were playing tag something, and that's a clear yellow card.
Well, the only real way to stop Jerome Roussillon in full flight is Josip Brekalo into the area. It's still Brekalo. Well, it was low, but behind McMahdy. Arnold. Brooks peels away from Augustinsson. This is Mbabu. Mbabu's cross is good. It's Wout Weghorst.
And he had this one exactly in the back head of Veljkovic. Otherwise, this could have been a great situation and a difficult one for Pavlenka.
Wolfsburg begin the second half in confident fashion. Schlager, this is João Victor. Still Victor. Well, Weghorst was screaming for it. Just too imprecise. However, it's gone all the way through to Mbabu. And this is Xaver Schlager. Roussillon gets the give and go. Well, Schlager was poised to shoot.
Wolfsburg brings real pressure here the first 5 minutes after the break. It's crucial now for Werder Bremen to survive this period. And there you see again, Weghorst heads this one onto the back of Velkovic.
Well, Wout Weghorst had a real opportunity at the start of the first half as he looks to end a 4-game scoring drought. This is Gebre Selassie.
Yeah, we mentioned already how dangerous Wout Weghorst is. One of the best strikers of the last season.
Yet to find his range this afternoon, Wout Weghorst. Yuya Asako, his opposite number at Wolfsburg, also luckless so far. Werder's best chance went to the Japanese international.
Yeah, but to be fair, in my opinion, he's more of a midfielder and creative person than a real striker. But he's able to find a way scoring goals, Yuya Osako. And that would be much needed for his team today.
Well, Osako indeed not found the net since match day 12. But in the situation they're in at the moment, Werder Bremen, they won't mind where the goals come from as long as they come. But ominously for Werder Bremen, in the last 11 Bundesliga matches, they've failed to score in the second half. They have just under 40 minutes to put that right. And if they don't, then you really would start to fear for them.
Yeah, the good thing, the longer such a streak goes on, the bigger the opportunity to break it. So
well, it would almost be unthinkable, a Bundesliga without Werder Bremen. It was momentous enough when their northern neighbours Hamburg were relegated 2 years ago. The only team who'd been present in every Bundesliga season to date. Werder have assumed their mantle as the longest serving club in the Bundesliga. And the yellow card is going to be for Xaver Schlager.
and it's a good decision as well. He's trying to argue
protest his innocence, Xaver Schlager.
His way out of it.
It's not going to change Bibiana Steinhaus's mind, though.
He hurt himself a little more than Josh Sargent did, even though Sargent was the one getting hurt and getting fouled. Yeah, stepped in late. And of course, it looks as Josh Sargent steps on the ankle of Sava. His effort was leading to it. Sounds stupid. I think it's still the right decision. Unfortunate, though, that he got really stepped on, actually.
And now just one booking away from suspension, Xaver Schlager. Augustinsson with the free kick for Bremen. It's headed on, looking for Josh Sargent. He'll keep the ball in. Sargent and Schlager do battle once more. Brekalo over to assist.
Velkovic might have bumped heads there. Yep.
The clash with Brooks.
And that's a tough piece of wood up there at Brooks' head. He doesn't feel a situation like this, it seems.
Gebre Selassie.
Another header that leads not to the wanted result.
Well, Bremen have to find a breakthrough from somewhere. As we said, their Bundesliga status hanging on by a thread. Now, Patrick, you played here for many years. Just give us a feeling of what it would mean, a Bundesliga without Werder Bremen.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine going into a Bundesliga season without talking about this in my former team. It's the whole city, the whole region is wearing white and green, and the city supports this team so much, and the team means so much to the city as well. It would be a real bummer. And obviously, of course, it always costs jobs and what comes with it. Yeah, but there's so much tradition, so much history with this club, and the fans really deserve a team that competes for the top. Actually, yeah, I would be devastated seeing my former club going to be relegated.
And header wide by Mehmedi. The Florian Kohfeldt reign at Bremen had started so promisingly. They were on the verge of Europe last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you see, I mean, when first of all, the season before that was a struggling season as well. So Florian Kohfeldt took over and saved the team from going down. Then in the next season, they kind of overperformed actually, and were fighting for Europe. But losing some key players, having some injuries to key players as well, and then not being able to get the results that you need sometimes. There were a lot of draws and a lot of unfortunate results to them, and that all leads to that downward spiral that they are in now. And yeah, it's tough to pull yourself out of it without being able to, you know, getting the right persons in the winter break. They tried it with Davy Selke adding to the team, and so, but it was just hard to fill the gap that guys like Max Kruse, for example, have left when they took their talent elsewhere. So it's tough, but yeah, you have to fight your way out of it, and so far the team wasn't able to really do so.
Well, some of those key injuries that you mentioned, striker Niklas Füllkrug has been out for most of the season after tearing his cruciate ligament. Your great friend Nuri Sahin as well, Patrick, out for the rest of the season. Doesn't look as if he'll play again.
Yep. Ömer Toprak, he came as a addition to stabilize the defense, but he was injured right away and so often after that. So it's just a bummer. Oh, good.
There's a neat turn by Sargent, and just too far ahead of the run of Davy Klaassen.
He got pulled down by Pogancic, trying to pass that ball to Davy Klaassen. Pogancic with a actually good game so far. Really calm, really strong defensively. In this situation, he had to pull Sargent a little. That was enough to distract him from getting a right pass off. Here you see it, a little pull to the shirt. There you go. Out of balance. It's a foul.
Davy Klaassen standing over the set piece as the rain starts to fall in Bremen. We've had weeks of glorious sunshine in Germany. But just this weekend, the weather has turned. Here's Davy Klaassen. Arnold. And away by Mehmedi. Victor. And now still João Victor. This is Weghorst. He's away from Klaassen. Brekelo's in support. And Babu steaming down the right-hand side. It's Mbabu's cross. Cut out by Vekovic with Weghorst lurking behind him.
And that's how fast you go from an own free kick on one side to almost getting stabbed by the offensive Wolfsburg on the other side in just seconds.
Well, Wolfsburg, plenty of players blessed with so much pace. Pongracic and Babu, Roussillon, Brekalo, all players who've clocked over 35 kilometres an hour this season. They can turn defence into attack in a matter of seconds. Maxi Arnold. It's Schlager from distance. Straight into a mass of green shirts. Roussillon will pick up the pieces. That's too close to Pavlenka.
It's starting to rain more and more heavily.
It's weather you certainly usually associate with Bremen and northern Germany, Patrick, but
Yeah.
perhaps not in June.
No, not really, actually. It's kind of cold. We had a fantastic April, though, and May. And now for June, it's a little colder than usually. And this rain is unusual, but I think nature is really looking on the bright side of this one.
This is Davy Klaassen.
Why not? There was nobody really more open than him. So why not try and surprise Kuhn Castells Brooks? And there's the first substitution.
It's going to be an attacking move by Florian Kohfeldt. Finn Bartels is on for Bargfrede. Finn Bartels at the end of an incredible and an emotional comeback. He started for the first time since December 2017 against Frankfurt midweek. He's been plagued by so much injury. Finn Bartels, consistent performer for many years for Werder Bremen, but hampered by an Achilles injury.
And I know how difficult those kind of injuries are. I'm suffering with that myself for many years.
And as a general rule of thumb, Patrick, when you're out for so long, do they say out for a year and it'll take you a year to get back to full fitness,
Yeah,
really?
There is a saying so, but I don't know if that's for sure. It depends on how you work and how you're able to work during that injury, and then it depends on the player itself, how fast he will adapt to the speed, to the situations on the pitch, because you can't really train that. But I wouldn't say a year. A year is too long, no matter what injury and injury time was before that. But it will take you certainly some months, because you're not able to really be in the mix right away. No coach will put you out there and give you the games you need. You need game time to come back into game shape, and that's why it takes so long, because you will get bits and bits of it, but not the full 90 minutes of games. Otherwise it would be much faster.
Well, Wolfsburg's Oliver Glasner also looking to make a change. Looks like they're going to be making a double substitution. Daniel Ginczek and Felix Klaus being given last-minute instructions. They have already stripped off, ready for action. Both Klaus and Ginczek attacking players. It'll be intriguing to see what Glasner has up his sleeve.
Yeah, both coaches subbing guys that are more on the offensive side, and it's a true sign that both teams and both coaches want this win to just follow their aims and their goals.
Teams now, of course, able to make 5 substitutions in the game, as is the new protocol. They have 3 windows of opportunity plus half-time to do so. Thus far, only Bremen have used 1 opportunity, but Wolfsburg getting ready to implement their first changes. This is Vejkovic. And the ball out of play will give Wolfsburg just that opportunity indeed. Ginczek replaces Admir Mehmedi. And Felix Klaus is coming on for João Victor. So two attacking-minded players on for fellow attacking players. However, Ginczek more of a centre forward than Mehmedi.
It's interesting to see 2 big guys that play similar roles, with Weghorst and Ginczek.
Ginczek, a battering ram of a striker. Came through the ranks at Borussia Dortmund, was given his first taste of life in the Bundesliga by Jürgen Klopp back then.
And I still remember how young he was back then, sharing the pitch with him. But developed into a real number 9 and a real force in the Bundesliga. But was battered with injuries himself, out for a long time. Just finding his way back to former shape.
Cruciate ligament and ankle injuries have set him back, Daniel Ginczek, but always bounced back. He's a really strong, robust character. This is Maxi Arnold. It's gone all the way through for the goal kick. And Wolfsburg lining up now with two centre forwards. It looks Weghorst and Ginczek in the middle. Brekalo out on the left. Roussillon wins the header. It's been evenly balanced so far. We're still waiting for the first goal. Finn Bartels. This is Sargent. Schaber. Schlager has the time to ease the ball out of danger. Brekalo appended by Vekovic. Serbian against the Croatian.
That was a real sliding tackle. First the ball and then everything else as well. Luckily, nobody really got hurt doing that,
but the rain allowing the surface now to become greasy enough for challenges just like that.
Gives you a little bit of extra distance sliding into tackles.
Finn Bartels does really well, and he's played in Osako here. And Barbu was over to cover. Unfairly, says Bibiana Steinhaus.
Yeah, you usually can tackle through a man. It's kind of hard to do, so I don't know what all the talk is about. Yuya Osako was cleverly putting his body in between ball and defender. I don't know if that's a necessary yellow card. Yeah, but he really goes into the legs of Yuya Osako, so there shouldn't be a complaining. You see here clearly, boom, there's the contact, and the ball wasn't even there yet, so that's a yellow card, and that's a good situation for a free kick for Werder Bremen.
Augustinsson and Davy Klaassen are standing over the free kick.
It's
you can hear the thunder over
right?
Bremen.
Yeah. That's real rain. It rains. It rains cats and dogs. Is that what you say?
Indeed.
Indeed. Yeah. This is serious rain coming down at the moment. What kind of sign might that be?
Well, it certainly will make the final 25 minutes even more interesting. It's Augustinsson goes for goal. Not too far over the top.
Not too bad. A lot of speed on that ball. The right kind of bat. Just a little too high. Wouldn't be surprised if Augustinsson or Mbabu have a say in the outcome of this game, since they've been so heavily involved up to now.
This is Brooks. Goes long, looking for Ginczek. Weghorst manages to keep control of the ball. Just too much on it for Felix Klaus, however. But when the surface is slippy and sliding, there's an opportunity for unforeseen mistakes. Could add yet another twist to this tale as we nervously await the breakthrough. Chances few and far between in this second half so far. As the rain pounds down in Bremen, there may be the opportunity for a match interruption due to an oncoming storm. Osako does battle with Mbabu. Swiss international wins out. Weghorst and Ginter.
Due to the lack of audience in the stadium, you can really hear every drop of the rain coming down. I haven't seen that much rain in months, actually.
Well, as you say, it'll do the grass on the pitch the world of good. However, makes things even more difficult, as if they weren't tough enough already for Werder Bremen.
Look at Pogancic and how he developed into a creative midfielder in this situation.
"20 minutes remaining in Bremen. Goalless between Werder and Wolfsburg in a rain-soaked Weser Stadion. Well, the floods of rain that are coming down would only be matched by the weight of tears around Bremen, were Werder to be relegated at the end of this season. They just can't afford not to win games. Pongracic. This is Weghorst. Brekalo. Felix Klaus. Into the area, Felix Klaus always rising.
Yep. Now it's hail coming down as well. That's interesting. It's a mix of rain and hail. Seen some white stuff bumping on the grass. It's just not fun being down there at the moment.
And as you say, Patrick, you just hope this isn't an omen for Werder Bremen, the heavens opening. Casteels, who's had precious little to do in the second half. It's all been too harmless so far from both Werder and Wolfsburg. This is Mbabu. And again, Mbabu wins the strong header. Ginczek. Still Ginczek. Deflected away for the corner, almost into the path of Wout Weghorst.
Yeah, that would be a real bummer now for both teams, actually, collecting a late goal. Since both teams were struggling so far to really create something clear and good, especially in the second half. We had two chances on both sides first half, but other than that, not too much.
Well, as we mentioned, set pieces have been Wolfsburg's main source of threat recently. And they've carved out an opportunity for Schlager here.
But way too high. Slipped maybe a little over his foot.
Difficult to control under the conditions.
Coach Glasner hiding on the bench.
He's usually such an animated presence on the touchline, Oliver Glasner, but seeking the comforts of a roof over his head with the rain bouncing down in Bremen. This is Sargent. Finn Bartels. Augustinsson. Moisander's going to be forced all the way back. Bartels with the header on. This is Klaassen. Bartels has given it away far too sloppily for Brekalo. He's looking to thread it through for Wout Weghorst. Maxi Arnold. Ginczek's in the middle. Here is Ginczek. Looking for Klaus.
Wolfsburg a little more creative when it comes towards Pavlenka's goal, or towards the goal of Werder Bremen. Bremen needs clearly an idea, an extra idea.
Neat combination between Eggestein and Klaassen. Gebre Selassie with the cross. And Augustinsson on the follow-up, up and over.
Maxi Eggestein was complaining in center that he's been tripped or pushed over. We can have another look. He was surrounded.
Caught within a Wolfsburg sandwich.
Yeah, bumped his knee into the legs of Mbabu and then stumbled to the ground. I think that would be too easy to get rewarded with a penalty.
And in the meantime, Werder Bremen have made their next substitution. Josh Sargent has come off. Industrious performance from the young US international. Luckless in front of goal, and he's made way for Leonardo Bittencourt. The man who's got the valuable goals for Bremen since the season restarted. The winner in Freiburg, the winner in Schalke, and here he is.
Hunting already. Instant pressure. Fresh legs, much needed now for the last 15.
Bittencourt on loan from Hoffenheim. And the youngest player ever to have scored for 5 different Bundesliga clubs. Among them Dortmund, Köln, Hanover, Hoffenheim and now Bremen. And how they need him to add to his tally.
Good decision from Roussillon, felt the pressure and coming. Second man for Werder Bremen, trying to steal that ball.
This is Gebre Selassie with the throw. Moisander, the Bremen captain, launches it long. And too far for Osako.
These kind of balls are maybe not the right decision when the defenders on the other side are Brooks and Pogancic. Both physically strong, tall, and able to get all of the challenges brought to them up there in the air.
Brooks looking for Felix Klaus. Well, it's symptomatic of the second half so far. The ball just too far, just not precise enough.
He's not hiding under the roof. Always with a high pulse rate.
Well, after the defeats against Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday, Florian Kohfeldt made his players stay behind and discuss what went wrong in the second half. Defensively, they've certainly put that right so far against Wolfsburg. Conceded a couple of chances on the break, but generally not looking as if they were going to concede. However, it's going forward that's more of a cause for concern for Bremen. They've been toothless in this second half. That has to change.
Yeah, you asked me that questions earlier. What's more important, to stabilize defensively or be better offensively? And I think when you're getting better offensively and being more dangerous, it's much easier to defend because the focus of the opponent will be much more defensive. And so, you know, scoring or creating chances is the best way of defending, actually, or the first way of defending. And there's a lack of talent there this season for Werder Bremen.
As we said, the lowest scorers in the Bundesliga. Well, this is a game that usually produces goals. An average of 3.5 per game in the 45 Bundesliga meetings between these two sides going into it. almost an anomaly that it's still goalless with 10 minutes to go. The next free kick, Leonardo Bittencourt, will also go into referee Steinhauser's book.
He slides into the leg of Klaus, yeah. I think no bad intention, but this is a yellow card.
Over exuberance from Leo Bittencourt. His father was also a famous Bundesliga player, Franklin, starred for Energie Cottbus during their brief sojourn in the top flight at the end of the 90s. Maxi Arnold, who's been involved in 4 goals in the last 2 games. Can he repeat that feat here? It's headed back across, and it's Ginczek with the shot blocked. Brekalo blocked once more, and Schlager! It's the closest we've come to an opener in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely the biggest chance, and it ends with this banger against the crossbar from Xaver Schlager. Chances before from Ginczek was really close, and with 10 minutes to play or a little less, that would have been somewhat of a decisive goal.
Well, Ludwig Augustinsson, who's been really impressive for Werder on his return to the starting lineup this afternoon. Usually an ever-present first name on the team sheet, been hampered by injury this season. Came in for Marco Friedl today, who'd impressed in recent weeks, but that place on the left flank is really reserved for Ludwig Augustinsson at Werder Bremen. This is Bittencourt. Cut out by Mbabu, who will now break for Wolfsburg. Kevin Mbabu, away from Eggestein. Still Mbabu, surging forward. Felix Klaus on the overlap. Klaus's cross finds Weghorst, and there's the breakthrough we've been waiting for. And what a crucial goal that could be at both ends of the Bundesliga. A cruel blow for Bremen, but vital for Wolfsburg.
Yeah, now it's difficult for Florian Kohfeldt and his team to find the right way to answer this. 8 minutes to play, and a fantastic goal by Wout Weghorst, who ends his little stretch, his little dip in form. And there you have it. This poor pass, actually, or this good defensive work by first Mbabu, and he brings the way forward. Another challenge he wins against Maxi Eggestein and gives that ball to Klaus. And now look at center. Vogt and Velkovic, both too far away from Wout Weghorst. He sneaks his way in front of Vogt, and then his header timed exactly the right way, and he wants it exactly this way. Just a little push, not too much.
Well, there was a shrug of the shoulders from Kevin Vogt, almost as if to say, why didn't you tell me that Weghorst was behind me?
Yep. I mean, it's not easy, but you have to be aware of where the striker is, and you have to communicate. He's right with that too.
And you can see what it means to Wout Weghorst to finally get back on the score sheet. It's goal number 12 of the season for the Dutch international.
So he is 5 behind from his numbers of last season.
And there's still 4 games to go after this one. Wolfsburg still have to face Freiburg, their direct rivals for a Europa League spot. Gladbach, Schalke and Bayern as well coming up for the Wolves.
We had another substitution. Schlager was subbed out against Gebhardt. He wears a face mask. They have developed. It's now all see-through glass. I was looking more like a Batman when I was wearing a face mask after a broken nose.
But is it even possible to play with a mask on?
I mean, I didn't like it. I trained with it to not get injured furthermore, but I didn't use it in-game because I just couldn't really breathe as normal and see as normal. But they might be advancing in technology and materials. So I don't know what the guys usually or feel now wearing these kind of masks.
Sarko's flick on. Symptomatic. Time is running out now for Werder Bremen.
Back-to-back defeats would be a real bummer mentally and, of course, for the numbers with only 4 games left to play, so 12 points to get. And as it looks right now, they're 3 points behind the relegation place, which is held by Düsseldorf at the moment.
And they've made a double substitution. It's one last throw of the dice by Florian Kohfeldt. Klaassen and Osako are off, and there's 2 strikers on the pitch now. Davy Selke and 18-year-old Nick Voltanada. He's a young man of immense promise. 18 goals in 20 appearances for Bremen's under-19 sides this season.
Yeah, but it's a different thing to compete in the Bundesliga compared to playing in the under-19 Bundesliga.
However, were he to grab his first goal in the Bundesliga, he could write his name into Werder Bremen history books. But it's Wolfsburg who come closer to a second. Weghorst snatching at the shot, perhaps slipped away from it on the greasy surface.
Yeah, but you said it. I mean, Wolfsburg just a little sharper, and we see the live table now. Wolfsburg in number 6th place, 2 points ahead of Hoffenheim. Looking good when it comes to...
But that goal, a hammer blow for Bremen. They're now 3 points, as it stands, 3 points adrift of the relegation playoff place. They no longer have Bundesliga survival in their own hands. They have to hope that their rivals slip up. Five minutes for Florian Kohfeldt's Bremen to find an equaliser from somewhere. Well, he said after the Frankfurt game that it wasn't a knockout blow, that defeat, but you almost get the feeling that this could be, if not the final nail in Bremen's coffin, certainly make life very difficult for themselves. Here's Mbabu. Wolfsburg look as if they're not finished yet. It's Ginczek. Brekalo. Brekalo looking for Ginczek. It's a good save by Pavlenka. How vital could that prove to be? That would have wrapped it up.
That would have been the nail in the coffin, at least for this game. And of course, Wolfsburg takes all the time off the clock they can.
And another double substitution. And it's a comeback for the captain, Joshua Guilavogui, replacing Maxi Arnold. Missed the last 7 with injury. He's not played since February, the captain. And he'll get 5 minutes or so in Bremen. Marcel Tisserand, the other player coming on for Wolfsburg. Bartels. And here is Tisserand, replacing Jérôme Roussillon at left back. Two fullbacks who came up through the French youth academy system.
They don't have to worry about talent in France, I tell you. Half of it is playing in the Bundesliga at the moment.
Moisander. It's flicked on by Augustinsson, far too far ahead of Davy Selke. Well, Florian Kohfeldt's usually an ever-optimistic character. Always believed, never given the impression that he's that he feels Bremen would be relegated. But after this defeat, should it turn into a defeat. That's 2 home games in the space of 4 days where they've lost really big points, Werder Bremen.
It's just something about home games at the moment after that Corona break to the Bundesliga. All this home advantage is gone without no spectators in the stadiums, and usually the results say so as well. Very, very little home wins. But this could be
now
a crucial moment
for Bremen. It's Leonardo Bittencourt. Still Bittencourt. Oh, Voltenade almost got on the end of it.
That was a big chance there to level this game again.
4 minutes of time added on. Bartels for Bremen. Back in by Vejkovic. It's Selke.
Under 4 minutes left now, you said it. Is that enough time for his team, Florian Kohfeldt, to get at least a point?
Ginczek wins the header on. Moisander. Powerful header by Brooks. Eggestein. This is Bittencourt. Guillervogi battling hard for Wolfsburg. Bartels under too much pressure from Tisserand.
Bremen is fighting still, but in this case a little too hard. They're not giving up. And again, the cross and the header that led to, or maybe lead to, another little more misery for Werder Bremen.
Again, we saw there just how static the defence was for Werder Bremen. Vogt and Vejkovic were just unaware that Weghorst was steaming in behind them. Made it too easy for him. This is away by Vogt. Selke. And Pongracic. As you said, Patrick, an assured performance at centre-back from Pongracic. He's been a real addition to this Wolfsburg squad since joining in the winter.
He is. I mean, he gave so many strikers a hard time since then. And he is calm, has ideas with the ball as well. Even shown us a little show of his skills when he was going forward earlier.
Brooks can't clear. This is Voltenade. Now Wolfsburg can break with Weghorst. Mbabu in support again down the right. Mbabu looking for Ginczek. Cut out by Vogt. And Augustinsson.
So it seems as Mbabu won that overall challenge against Augustinsson. They both started right away from the beginning. And Mbabu was involved in that so far only goal in this game. And he opened up for Klaus, who then found Weghorst in center.
Vejkovic, one final push for Werder Bremen with Bittencourt. But when things are going against you, you have to feel for Florian Kohfeldt. He's one of Germany's brightest young coaching talents. But so many things gone against him this year, and you must wonder what's going through Marco Balder's mind there. CEO of Werder Bremen and former player, was Bremen's record goalscorer until Claudio Pizarro overtook him.
They said they would stand with Kohfeldt to these tough times. Many were doubting that this was the right decision. Of course, the numbers say differently, but...
Now Vekovic with the cross. Can they carve out an equaliser? Augustinsson, still play continues. We're over the allotted 4 minutes. Augustinsson looking for Gebre Selassie. And that, you feel, was that. Indeed, the final chance of the game. Full time at the Weserstadion. Werder Bremen really have it all to do in the Bundesliga now after a second home defeat in the space of 5 days. Wout Weghorst's goal, the clincher in the end for Wolfsburg. They march on towards the Europa League. Final score in Bremen. It's Werder 0, Wolfsburg 1. Well, Patrick Overmeulen, a hammer blow for Werder Bremen. Can you see them coming back from this now?
I mean, I said it before, it's really difficult. The way is getting longer and longer. We see the faces of Kofeld and now Marco Bode. It's a tough situation. It's 3 points behind relegation and even, I think, 5 or 6 now onto the last spot who stays directly in the Bundesliga. It's not looking good for Werder.
Well, it was a spirited performance mainly in the first half from Werder Bremen, but unfortunately in the second they just created too little going forward. And again, their defence, one of the worst records in the Bundesliga, 63 goals they've conceded now. It was all it took was one quick counter from Wolfsburg to undo them. And in the end, it's the lack of goals, though, that's going to be Werder's downfall.
I think so. I mean, you see pictures of happy and up-looking Wolfsburg players. And rightfully so, they fought their way, have another chance, or still have the chance to play European football next season. That's what they're aiming for. And defensively, Bremen wasn't able to stop Wout Weghorst and Wolfsburg. And yeah,